Picture a grand palace glowing under a gentle evening sky, with lavish chandeliers reflecting the regal tapestry of British tradition. Within those stately walls stands Prince William, a man so often associated with fatherly devotion and the comforting stability he shares with his wife, Princess Catherine. Yet behind that polished veneer lies a more intricate tapestry, a collection of whispered stories that once captivated the public imagination. We often see William framed by fatherhood and official duties, but rumor has it that long before this domesticated chapter, his life was defined by energetic bachelorhood, ongoing social escapades, and intriguing friendships with some of society's most notable women. Was he truly the roguish prince described by gossip outlets? Or is that persona just an exaggerated myth fueled by an enduring fascination with royal affairs? Let's explore these intriguing rumors, delving into the possibilities without endorsing them outright, while weaving them into a fresh and compelling story designed to captivate viewers from start to finish. It's important to remember that whenever a figure of Prince William's stature appears in public or private, news tends to spring up like wildflowers, vibrant, often beautiful, but not always rooted in the truth. For many years, newspapers and tabloids alike seemed to chase every rumor about who might have made his heart flutter. The path to royal matrimony wasn't as straightforward as perhaps many might think, and certain corners of the media have made a living off speculations regarding whether the future king's attention had been captured, momentarily or otherwise, by various women across high society circles. Even though he ended up in what is now widely perceived as a strong union with Catherine, these alleged encounters still managed to hold the public's curiosity, stirring a swirl of what-ifs and suspicions about what might have happened behind the polished facades of palace life. Pertursioroti 1. The Rose Hanbury Affair. Rose Hanbury's name burst into the spotlight when rumors started circulating that she and Prince William had grown unexpectedly close. Originally known as a model, Rose later assumed the title Marchioness of Cholmondeley after marrying a prominent aristocrat. She and her husband inhabited the same elite social circles as the British royal family, which allowed her to form what appeared to be a friendly bond with Princess Catherine. That connection was evident in photos from formal gatherings and casual get-togethers, where Rose and Catherine often stood side by side, chatting comfortably as though they were longtime confidants. Speculation kicked into high gear around 2019 when tabloids claimed that Rose's closeness to William had crossed an inappropriate boundary, straining her friendship with Catherine to the breaking point. Certain newspapers and anonymous sources suggested that Catherine felt betrayed once she heard the rumors about her husband's alleged growing fondness for Rose. Reports also emerged that there was a conscious effort by Catherine to keep Rose at arm's length from any future social events, prompting wild theories about abrupt party cancellations and pointed snubs. The royal family, typically silent about gossip, uncharacteristically released a firm denial, labeling the allegations unbelievable and false. Rather than quelling the frenzy, this statement ignited further speculation. Why bother to issue such a strong denial if the rumor had no weight whatsoever? Social media was soon filled with heated debates. Some argued it was proof that the palace wouldn't tolerate false accusations, while others took the denial as indirect confirmation that something behind the scenes might have truly rattled the royals. To this day, no concrete evidence has emerged to support the rumor, but the abrupt cooling of Catherine and Rose's once warm relationship sparked countless questions, illustrating how any perceived fracture in the royal circle, particularly one hinting at infidelity, can send the public into an intense cycle of speculation and intrigue. Affair 2. The JECCA-Craig relationship. JECCA Craig's connection to Prince William traces back to Eton College, where their families shared overlapping interests, especially in wildlife conservation. Although William eventually enrolled at St. Andrews and JECCA pursued her path elsewhere, they maintained an enduring friendship that some found suspiciously strong. Whenever William visited Kenya, where JECCA's family has deep roots, curious reports of late-night gatherings, stargazing adventures, or hushed conversations tended to surface. One of the most talked-about moments occurred in 2008, after a temporary break between William and Catherine. William made a notable trip to Kenya, and JECCA was prominently by his side. Tabloids seized on the possibility that, free from the watchful eyes of British high society, William might have taken the opportunity to reconnect romantically with his longtime confidant. Infamous whispers even hinted at a rendezvous involving a secluded pool, though no photographs or solid corroboration ever emerged. These rumors persisted in part because JECCA was regarded as intelligent, charismatic, and blessed with a shared passion for conservation, traits that, to some observers, made her a natural match for William. When William and Catherine eventually reconciled and became engaged, many believed the JECCA chapter was officially closed. Still, a number of royal watchers clung to the idea that JECCA's importance in William's life transcended mere friendship, pointing to her presence at major milestones. She attended the wedding of William and Catherine, stoking speculation that William held her in especially high regard. Meanwhile, JECCA consistently dismissed any romantic insinuations, insisting their connection was purely platonic. Yet the rumor rarely fades completely, resurfacing whenever William ventures on a private trip linked to conservation or revisits Kenya. Whether this was simply an unusually strong bond forged through shared interests or an unspoken romantic undercurrent, JECCA Craig's presence in William's orbit continues to fascinate those who suspect she might have been the one who got away before Catherine ultimately became the Duchess of Cambridge. Affair 3, the Isabella Calthorpe scandal. Isabella Calthorpe entered the scene as a poised socialite with aristocratic connections. She's the half-sister of Harry Aubrey Fletcher, one of William's close friends. By most accounts, Isabella possesses a natural charm and elegance that garnered attention wherever she went. According to whispers that surfaced in William's late teens, he harbored a strong crush on Isabella, to the point where he supposedly sought out opportunities to meet her at society events. At that age, William was grappling with balancing his royal obligations against a desire for a typical adolescence, making any crush a subject of fascination for the press. Matters heightened around 2007, a tumultuous time when William and Catherine were famously on a brief break. Isabella appeared at William's Royal Military Academy Sandhurst passing out parade, a formal event typically attended by close friends and family. The tabloids quickly interpreted her presence as more than just friendly support, wondering if it signaled a romantic turning point. Observers noted that Isabella was in a stable relationship at the time, which complicated the notion that she and William could be involved. Still, skeptics pointed out that intense admiration doesn't always bow to practicality, feeding theories that William's attraction might have contributed to his temporary split with Catherine. Isabella herself kept a low profile during the media storm, never publicly acknowledging any romantic tension with the prince. However, the rumors lingered. Even after William and Catherine reunited, gossip columns continued to mention Isabella whenever tension surfaced in the royal couple's relationship. Some watchers theorized that Isabella was the ultimate what-if, representing a path William contemplated but never fully pursued. As time wore on, Isabella followed her own life path, stepping away from the spotlight while William continued his well-documented journey into fatherhood and greater royal responsibilities. Yet her name remains embedded in the lore of William's rumored flirtations, symbolizing a possibility that added temporary strain and a dash of mystery to an already closely watched royal romance. Affair 4, the Carly Massie-BIRCH incident. During Prince William's university years at St. Andrews, he lived in relatively close quarters with other students, including Carly Massie-BIRCH. At the time, William's romantic relationship with Catherine had not yet solidified into the enduring partnership it would later become. This created an environment where any sign of William's affection toward another student could ignite rumors. Carly, a friend of both William and Catherine, found herself at the center of such speculation when she hinted publicly that the prince had shown an interest in her. Although Carly never confirmed a clear-cut romance, in a 2010 interview, she remarked that William didn't deserve criticism for showing interest in another young woman, at a time when his commitment to Catherine wasn't absolutely confirmed. This comment lent credibility to existing whispers that the prince had briefly tested the waters with Carly, leading to awkward moments among their shared group of friends. Supposedly, the tension became most noticeable whenever Catherine was present, as observers detected subtle undercurrents of rivalry. Still, Carly was never portrayed as a scandalous intruder. She described William as courteous, and her recollections depicted a young man trying to navigate emotional complexities against a backdrop of immense public scrutiny. Despite tabloids' appetite for drama, there was no reported fallout so severe that it ruptured friendships for good. Once William formally committed to Catherine, the storyline with Carly faded, though occasional references resurface in the media to illustrate that William's path to engagement was not always straightforward. In the bigger picture of William's life, the alleged flirtation with Carly highlights a recurring theme. Even a minor spark of interest, if associated with a prince, can spiral into a full-blown media sensation. Over the years, Carly's anecdotes have underscored how William's every personal interaction, no matter how brief, was ripe for interpretation, adding one more note to the chorus of rumors surrounding his bachelor days. Affair 5, the Anna Sloan rumors. Anna Sloan, often described as an American heiress, entered Prince William's orbit during a phase when he was exploring a range of social circles beyond the usual aristocratic set. According to the rumors, her charm and worldly perspective stood out in a sea of British nobility. They encountered each other at posh events, teeming with celebrities, high-profile entrepreneurs, and cultural icons. For William, accustomed to the structured environment of the royal family, Anna's background may have represented a refreshing alternative, free from the rigid traditions he had grown up with. Reports of their interactions ramped up around 2008, culminating in talk about a party at the Wilderness Reserve where onlookers allegedly observed them locked in animated conversation. Some circulated stories that William and Anna shared a natural rapport, complete with conspiratorial smiles and subtle body language clues. While no photographic evidence surfaced to confirm these accounts, the lack of proof did little to tame the rumor mill. People were eager to speculate that William found Anna's company appealing enough to seek her out on multiple occasions, even scheduling smaller, low-key gatherings to extend their time together. Such speculation inevitably cast Anna as a potential rival to Catherine, fueling gossip about whether the relationship between William and Catherine might be under strain yet again. Tabloids highlighted that Anna, being American, epitomized a more modern brand of aristocracy, blending wealth with business acumen and a laid-back approach to social conventions. This stood in stark contrast to the image of a traditional British consort. Nevertheless, over time, the Anna Sloan story seemed to fade from the spotlight, possibly due to a lack of concrete evidence or new developments. Although her name occasionally surfaces in retrospectives of William's rumored love interests, the narratives surrounding her remain elusive, suggesting that if there was a deeper connection, it remained firmly hidden behind the veneer of polite society. Affair 6, the Natasha Hamilton Flirtation. Natasha Hamilton, a member of the British pop group Atomic Kitten, found her name splashed across headlines after she recounted a brief but memorable encounter with Prince William in 2004. The setting was the Commonwealth Games in Manchester, where Natasha performed alongside her bandmates. At the time, William was 22 years old and still navigating the boundary between private citizen and public figure. The occasion offered him a chance to experience a mainstream cultural event away from some of the stricter protocols of palace life. During an after-party, Natasha claimed William approached her and whispered a simple yet impactful compliment, that she looked stunning. Though entirely ordinary by most standards, this remark took on heightened significance because it came from a prince. Natasha admitted she felt flattered and even a bit overwhelmed by the royal attention. She later noted that she might have been tempted if he had pursued anything further, sparking a media frenzy that labeled her the pop star who almost nabbed a prince. What drew particular interest was the timing. Reports suggested William and Catherine were beginning to date around that time, fueling speculation that the prince might not have been entirely fixed on one romantic path. Nevertheless, Natasha was quick to clarify that nothing physical or lasting transpired. She treated the moment as light-hearted banter, perhaps an innocent compliment from a young royal enjoying a night out. However, tabloids feasted on the idea of William flirting with a pop star, framing it as evidence that he was casting a wider net than the public realized. In the grand scheme of William's rumored affairs, the Natasha Hamilton story stands out for its blend of pop culture and monarchy. Although fleeting, the incident underscores how even a single flattering line from a royal figure can be magnified into evidence of an adventurous or wandering eye, particularly during a time when the future king's love life was still an open question. Affair 7. The Jessica Hay Confession. Jessica Hay came into the limelight not through a direct romantic rumor, but by virtue of her proximity to Prince William during his transformative years. A fellow student at St. Andrews, Jessica shared social circles with William and Catherine, observing firsthand how the future king handled relationships, study pressures, and the swirl of attention that constantly hovered around him. While she initially blended into the background, her decisive moment arrived shortly before William and Catherine's engagement announcement in 2010. Jessica granted an interview that rapidly garnered widespread attention, particularly for her candid statements about William's past love life. Though she didn't provide specific names, she commented that William had tried to get around a bit in his younger days. Those few words reignited a blaze of speculation, as they seemed to validate a number of previous rumors about his flirtations at university. Critics questioned whether Jessica was exaggerating or seeking publicity, but supporters pointed out that her remarks matched the consistent chatter from tabloids over the years. Royal watchers found Jessica's story compelling because she wasn't a faceless tabloid source, but someone with an established history of friendship with William. Her statements painted a picture of a youthful prince exploring multiple connections, occasionally reveling in nights out and brief infatuations with various young women. In the context of a normal 20-something, this might have appeared unremarkable, yet given William's status, it was magnified as a pattern of playboy behavior. Despite some backlash for her disclosures, Jessica remained unapologetic, asserting that her objective was to humanize William, emphasizing he was a fun-loving student before stepping into the more sober responsibilities of royal life. Her perspective thus lives on as a footnote that lends a sense of authenticity to the swirling rumors. For many, Jessica Hayes' confession adds an insider's note of credibility to tales of William's exploratory years before he settled into a committed relationship with Catherine. Affair 8. The Arabella-Musgrave Affair. Arabella Musgrave's name repeatedly emerges in discussions about William's adolescent years, primarily because she was said to be a figure from his teenage life at Eton. Early rumors point to an immediate spark between them, with mutual friends observing their comfortable rapport marked by laughter and easy conversation. Over time, the narrative grew more complex, suggesting that their connection might have morphed into a flirtatious or romantic one, though details remained consistently murky. During the late 2000s, a new wave of stories posited that William had revived his bond with Arabella after she became a public relations executive in London. Some accounts described them as being spotted in corners of posh social gatherings, absorbed in private banter that hinted at deeper closeness. An oft-quoted tidbit had Arabella alluding to unfinished business with William, though it was never confirmed she used those exact words. Still, such a phrase was enough to send rumor mills into a frenzy, painting a picture of a prince torn between duty and lingering passion for an old acquaintance. Whether or not any real romance persisted, the notion that William might look back fondly on a teenage flame resonated strongly with the public. After all, the storyline of youthful love reignited later in life has universal appeal. Arabella, for her part, has never openly recounted a romantic narrative with William, maintaining an aura of mystery that only heightened media curiosity. Tabloids speculated about how Catherine might have reacted, but little concrete evidence emerged of any overt tension. Ultimately, the Arabella Musgrave affair remains a tantalizing question mark, with just enough anecdotal support to fuel speculation, but never enough to be definitively proven. It's an illustration of how the future king's youthful relationships, whether truly intimate or just warmly familiar, spark intense intrigue, especially if they carry even the faintest hint of rekindling old flames. Affair 9. The DAVINA Duckworth-CHAD Connection. DAVINA Duckworth-CHAD often surfaces in discussions of William's circle due to her long-standing ties to the royal family. She hails from an aristocratic lineage that has historically mingled with Britain's upper echelons, making her a natural presence at the same galas, weddings, and social weekends as William. The rumor of a romantic link between them flourished around 2007, an especially important year when William and Catherine's relationship was briefly on pause. During this period, some insiders whispered that William found solace in Davina's company, presumably turning to her for support and fun during a confusing time. Accounts from parties described them as standing close, sharing private jokes, and lingering in conversation more than casual acquaintances might, yet neither party ever publicly addressed these speculations, leaving a gap that the tabloids eagerly filled. According to certain press reports, their shared history made the idea of a budding romance plausible, but just as many observers argued they'd grown up akin to cousins, implying that any suggestion of an affair was outlandish. What sets Davina apart from some of William's other rumored flings is the fact that she was part of his social set from a very young age. Instead of being a new face or someone introduced by mutual friends, she had known William practically since childhood. This dynamic gave the speculation an additional dimension. Might William have overlooked a family friend turned potential partner earlier, only to realize her appeal during a rough patch with Catherine? On the other hand, Supporters of the Platonic friendship theory emphasize that strong bonds formed in childhood do not automatically translate into romance. Even as William and Catherine reconciled and moved toward engagement, Davina's name lingered in articles about his lost loves. The lack of conclusive evidence remains a hallmark of these rumors, underscoring how any perceived closeness within aristocratic circles can trigger endless conjecture about hidden passions and emotional entanglements. Affair 10. The Olivia Hunt Fling. Before Catherine Middleton became William's steadfast partner, St. Andrews University harbored whispers of another potential love interest, Olivia Hunt. The story goes that Olivia and William shared an easygoing rapport during their early university days, when William was still finding his footing outside the confines of palace life. Reports allege they dated briefly, or at minimum enjoyed a flirtation fueled by campus parties, study sessions, and late-night gatherings in dorm common rooms. While neither ever provided an official statement, rumors describe the pair as comfortable in each other's company, often spotted together at meals or social events. Those who were close to the situation suggested Olivia had a major crush on Will's, and the feeling might have been mutual, at least for a short period. Some watchers argue that, at 19 or 20 years old, William was simply tasting the freedom of a typical university student, making small romantic forays that would soon be overshadowed by his more public relationship with Catherine. Eventually, William's focus shifted, and Catherine stepped to the forefront of his personal life. Though that left Olivia in the background, her name occasionally resurfaces in retrospectives of William's early romances. What intrigues many is just how little drama appears to have accompanied the rumored fling. There were no public spats or sensational exposures, suggesting it was either truly brief or incredibly low-key. Years later, Olivia referred to William as Wills, hinting at a lingering fondness, or at least a friendly dynamic. Given the scarcity of sensational details, Olivia Hunt's story illuminates a subtle side of William's personal history, the possibility that he had multiple low-level connections, unburdened by high-stakes expectations. For a royal figure whose every move is scrutinized, even the simplest romantic rumor becomes part of a larger mosaic, painting a picture of a young man experimenting with life and love before the realities of royal duty came to the fore. Affair 11. The NATALIE HICKS-LOBBECKE Scandal. NATALIE HICKS-LOBBECKE emerged as one of the lesser-known but still noteworthy figures tied to Prince William's romantic rumor mill. The daughter of a wealthy shipping magnate, she frequented the same upper-class circuit that William navigated in his early 20s. Sources from that period recalled spotting them at exclusive galas, polo matches, and private dinner parties, situations ripe for speculation given William's single status. According to unverified accounts, William found Natalie's presence immediately captivating. Friends claimed there was a mutual spark, evidenced by extended conversations in secluded corners and fleeting moments of tactile contact, like a hand on the arm or a playful whisper that drew them closer physically. Though these details might seem trivial, observers insist such moments were telling signs that William was more than casually interested. Tabloid narratives latched onto the idea that the young prince, newly independent and exploring his options, was charmed by Natalie's self-confidence and social finesse. What further fanned the flames were allegations that those within William's royal advisory circle expressed reservations about Natalie as a prospective partner. Royal families have historically placed importance on lineage, tradition, and public perception. And while Natalie's aristocratic ties were respectable, some insiders purportedly questioned whether she aligned with the long-term vision for a future consort to the British throne. Whether these concerns were real or simply tabloid fodder remains debatable. The rumor never morphed into an outright scandal, possibly because William's attentions shifted elsewhere, or because neither party wished to escalate the chatter. In any event, by the time William's relationship with Catherine grew more serious, whispers of Natalie faded significantly. Still, her story underscores how even a brief flicker of chemistry with the prince could balloon into a scandal-laden narrative reflecting the depth of public and media interest in William's personal affairs during his young adulthood. Affair 12. The Emma SAYLE Flirtation. Emma SAYLE's alleged involvement with Prince William provides a colorful glimpse into his partying phase during his time at St. Andrews. Known as a high society party planner, Emma reportedly crossed paths with William on several occasions, but the most iconic night attached to her name took place at Mahiki, an exclusive London tiki-themed club popular among royals, celebrities, and assorted socialites. According to numerous eyewitness accounts, it was an evening when William seemed to shrug off the pressures of royal life, drinking liberally and dancing with abandon. Emma appeared at his side frequently, sharing in his revelry with an uninhibited spirit. Tales of flirtatious dancing, playful wrestling on the dance floor, and whispered jokes circulated widely after the event. Mahiki's laid-back but high-profile atmosphere served as the perfect breeding ground for salacious rumors. Paparazzi, stationed outside, captured William's exit in the early hours, fueling stories that the prince had let loose in ways not typically associated with his royal demeanor. Emma later gave interviews describing William as hot, but insisted nothing more than friendly flirtation transpired. She implied they were merely two young adults indulging in a festive atmosphere, a scenario magnified tenfold by William's royal status. Some tabloids, however, painted a more dramatic picture, portraying Emma as a tempting presence that might have threatened any budding relationship William had with Catherine at the time. Those narratives posited that William struggled with whether he could maintain the carefree nightlife he enjoyed while balancing the realities of royal obligations and his relationship. For royal watchers, the Emma SAYLE incident stands out as a prime example of William's transitional phase, teetering between a desire for a normal youth filled with parties and the inescapable fact that his every move was under the global microscope. Though ephemeral, the flirtation helped define the public's view of William as a prince who was not above the thrill of weekend freedom. Affair 13. The Laura Pope Incident. Laura Pope's encounter with Prince William at Cheltenham Racecourse in 2008 exemplifies how even the most mundane interaction can balloon into a rumor-laden spectacle when royalty is involved. Laura, described as a glamorous blonde with notable social connections, recounted that William complimented her looks during a casual conversation. According to her version of events, he even teased about meeting up later that evening, which she jokingly referred to as a prestigious royal booty call. That phrase alone was enough to catapult the story into tabloid headlines, igniting debates on whether William was simply being friendly or actively flirting. Friends of the prince, eager to protect his reputation, framed it as harmless banter, nothing more than a few jovial remarks exchanged in a crowded social environment. Yet, conspiracy-minded individuals latched onto the incident as evidence that William, nearing an official engagement with Catherine, was testing the waters to see if he could still enjoy the perks of bachelor life. Critics who examined the timing pointed out that 2008 was a pivotal period. William was maturing into his role, training with the Royal Air Force, and considering a more formal path alongside Catherine. Any suggestion he might still be flirting with other women threatened to disrupt the tidy narrative of a young man evolving seamlessly into his future duties. Others argue the entire scenario was blown out of proportion, with Laura's playful commentary seized upon by tabloids that thrive on sensational headlines. Regardless of which interpretation one accepts, Laura Pope's story underscores how every reported conversation or fleeting spark of humor can be inflated into proof of extramarital interest. While the anecdote never solidified into a full-blown scandal, it added yet another layer to the mosaic of William's rumored flirtations, highlighting how royals walk a tightrope between polite social interaction and gossip-fueled speculation. Affair 14. The Alexandra-KNATCHBULL connection. The suggestion of a romantic link between Prince William and Alexandra KNATCHBULL stands out because it dovetails with the complexities of royal lineage. Alexandra is distantly related to William, her father being Norton Knatchbull, the third Earl Mountbatten of Burma, making her part of a web of aristocratic ties that extend through Europe. Royal watchers were intrigued by the idea that within this sprawling family tree, a teenaged William might have nurtured a fondness for Alexandra that went beyond cousinly rapport. Rumors intensified in the early 2000s when Alexandra was spotted at certain gatherings where her interactions with William caught the eye of curious onlookers. Body language experts and enthusiastic amateur interpreters claimed to see an affectionate warmth. However, critics of the rumor emphasized that shared lineage often results in numerous family events, and any closeness observed could merely reflect a bond forged through years of familial tradition rather than budding romance. Still, the mere notion of two aristocratic relatives flirting raised eyebrows, largely because it evoked historical precedents where European royals intermarried to fortify political alliances. Modern times may frown on close kin unions, but distant cousin marriages aren't unheard of in royal annals. Tabloid headlines riffed on this theme, painting a picture of a secret teenage crush that was either gently discouraged by the royal establishment or that never truly existed in the first place. As William's relationship with Catherine progressed toward marriage, the Alexandra story receded. Yet, it resurfaces periodically whenever they appear at the same event, or an anecdote about their youth re-emerges. Without corroboration from either side, the rumor resides in the realm of speculative lore. Nevertheless, it continues to illustrate how the public's fascination with royal romances knows no bounds, extending even into the winding branches of their family tree, where a shadow of romantic possibility can capture widespread attention. Affair 15. The Holly Branson relationship. Holly Branson, daughter of Sir Richard Branson, occupies a unique space in Prince William's rumor archive thanks to her background in entrepreneurship and philanthropy rather than aristocracy. Nonetheless, the two moved in similarly affluent circles. Wealthy millennials, heirs, and heiresses often crossed paths at exclusive bars, charity fundraisers, and jet-set holiday destinations. This shared environment paved the way for speculation that William and Holly's friendly interactions might be more than platonic. Their supposed late-night adventures in London's West End clubs were the stuff of tabloid fodder, with eye-catching claims that they were seen dancing intimately or leaving venues at the same early hour. Some accounts described them as very tactile, feeding a narrative that Holly could be a prospective romantic contender. Unlike other rumored flings with aristocrats, the Holly Branson storyline carried an extra dash of excitement. She wasn't bound by centuries of British social protocol, offering an alternate path that might have appealed to a prince seeking a slightly freer lifestyle. Yet the Branson family was quick to deny any romantic dimension. They maintained that William and Holly had many overlapping interests, particularly around charitable activities, and that their encounters were typical of people in the same social set. The more strenuously they denied it, however, the more the public toyed with the idea that something clandestine might be going on. Critics suggested it was highly unlikely William would risk serious controversy while under the watchful eye of the press. Ultimately, no irrefutable evidence emerged. Over time, Catherine became a visible fixture in William's world, rendering the Holly Branson rumors an amusing chapter rather than a serious complication. Still, the notion that the prince might have entertained a non-aristocratic partner, someone with a dynamic entrepreneurial background, remains a point of fascination. It underscores how broad William's social reach was, encompassing not only noble families, but also the progeny of international business moguls. If you've enjoyed this in-depth look at the swirl of stories surrounding Prince William's bachelor days, please let me know by hitting that like button. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have any of these alleged affairs surprised you? Do you think there was genuine substance to some of them, or did sensationalist tabloids weave the ultimate tales? Feel free to share your opinions and theories because royal watchers everywhere thrive on exchanging perspectives. And, of course, if you appreciate our deep dives into the hidden dimensions of royal life, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more content that peels back the gilded curtain, revealing the human side of those often placed on pedestals. Finally, don't hesitate to share this video with fellow royal enthusiasts or anyone intrigued by how rumor and reality interlace in the corridors of power. Thank you for joining me on this journey into Prince William's rumored romances. We'll be back soon with more riveting insights into the lives of the world's most captivating figures. Until then, keep your curiosity keen, your spirit open, and remember that every legend, no matter how grand, often has a kernel of truth, whether whispered in palace halls or conjured from the collective imagination of a fascinated public.